Well, we will go ahead and get started since I don't want to waste any more of your time and our wonderful speakers' time. We'll have folks jumping in and off the call, I'm sure, through most of the next hour or so. Go ahead and please put your introductions in the chat, who you are, what organization you're with, and where you are calling in from. I think most of everybody on this call I've met, but if not, I am Dawn Davies. I'm the Night Sky Program Manager for Hill Country Alliance and have the wonderful fortune of getting to lead the Hill Country Eclipse team and these wonderful lunch and learns. And we are very privileged today to have a wonderful subject matter expert with us in Miss Spencer Zamora. She's the research specialist with the Office of the Governor's Economic Development and Tourism Department. She's been with the team for 5 years. The Travel Texas program promotes the state as a premier travel destination in domestic and international markets, which I'm sure we're going to see a lot of international visitors here in the coming months. Also, through integrated advertising, public relations, and marketing programming. In this role, Spencer also supports the research program that serves as the foundation for the states. If you are not speaking, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Sorry about that. See, serves as the state's tourism promotion and a resource for the travel industry and tourism development. She has a Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Administration from Stephen F. Austin State University, has been involved in the tourism industry since 2014, starting at Visit Austin. She's a member of the Travel and Tourism Research Association, is currently working on the Tourism Executive Certification. That's exciting with Texas Travel Alliance. And I was excited to learn you are a marathon runner. I'm an ex-marathon runner myself, and serves on the Austin Cactus and Succulent Society board as vice president in your copious spare time, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So Spencer has graciously agreed to come on today to give us all of her input and expertise in the aspects of travel and tourism as it relates to these upcoming eclipses. So with that, I will let you take it away and share your screen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much to Dawn and the Hill Country Alliance for having me touch on Texas tourism highlights today. As we all know, the eclipse is the big topic right now, and we are nearing closer to the big event. I have seen over the last year how many of the Texas DMOs are really taking full advantage of this event to really showcase what their community has to offer. And it's just been so great. All the murals that I've seen, all of the glasses, all of the t-shirts, just everything has just been so it's been a come together situation. But here at the governor's office, Travel Texas, I have the joy of being on the front line of the phone calls for all the visitors inquiring on things to do in the state and getting visitor guides and whatnot. We have a very small team here. But so the eclipse has been one of the high frequency calls that we have been receiving. The eclipse may be a short event, but it is going to have a very large impact on the state as a whole. And we will all sure see that come to fruition soon. But as Dawn mentioned, I am with Travel Texas. We are located in the Economic Development and Tourism team of the governor's office in Austin. Tourism is such an important industry that they went ahead and threw our name in the title of the department. And I'm happy to go over what we do for the state and give some highlights on how we are helping with the Eclipse event and how you can get involved. And so let me go ahead and share my presentation. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, you're good.
Get it on? Okay, great. All right. So Travel Texas. Let me make sure that I am able to advance. Okay. So Travel Texas is the only entity responsible for tourism promotion to non-Texans. Some of the major activities performed under the program are 3 major categories, one including advertising, public relations, and then also marketing in domestic and international markets. Not a lot of people are aware, but we actually do have international markets across the waters.
I said I turn the camera on so these people can see you.
We have international markets in Mexico, Canada, Germany, Australia, and the UK, and we are still working on getting back Asia. But we have offices all over the world that are helping promote Texas. Um, we also have another department, the Travel Research Department, is conducted to provide a foundation to inform and direct the tourism program activities and encourage the tourism development. But our main mission statement is that the division markets Texas as a premier travel destination to domestic and international travelers, thereby generating travel to Texas destinations that increase revenues and create jobs. That's our main focus, is to create that revenue, create jobs for Texans. Um, Many people know that 1 in 10 employee in Texas is a tourism related career. That trickles all the way down from hotels, the people who provide the materials that go to the hotels, the CVBs, the restaurants, the event planners, sporting communities. Everything is impacted by tourism, and we all felt that during COVID. So, how we measure the impact is on a return on investment. So, during the fiscal year, we throw out about thousands of surveys, and we gauge on the effectiveness, the return on investment of all of the marketing that we're investing the state's dollars. So during the 22 year, we had a 56% more tax revenue with the launch of our current campaign in Travel Texas. It's called the Get Your Own Trip to Texas. It's more of an inspiration. It's like a verb. Let's Texas is the verb of Travel Texas, but the campaign this year is Get Your Own Trip to Texas. And I'll show that a little more on in my presentation. Um, it's an invitation to come to the state and experience. And so, as you see, we did have a 56% increase in tax revenue. Um, and the return on investment, I believe, was about $5 to the $1 that we invested. So, but as I expressed how important it is that we promote outside of the state, we also are very concerned with the hometown, the locals that live in these communities. We don't only want to make the visitors that are visiting happy. We want to make the people that are living in these places happy. We want hometown pride. We want um, happiness in community, because not only is tourism creating revenue, but it's also inspiring relocation of businesses. The Economic Development Office just won the Governor's Cup for the 19th year in a row, and that was directly from business relocation. Um, we also want to promote. It's a place. Texas is a place to start a career, to start a business. It's a place to live and attend college, and so we want hometown pride as well as making the visitors happy. um, Under the governor's office, like I had mentioned before, the Texas Economic Development and Tourism. There are 6 different offices, not only Travel Texas, but we also have the Texas Film Commission, the Texas Music Office, the Workforce Investment Council, Economic Development Finance, and the Business and Development Community. I'm sure a few of y'all have worked with the Development Finance team. That's where the event trust funds are when big events like Formula One or the rodeo come to town. That's an incentive program that many communities can get tax cuts and incentives and grants to bring those large events to our communities. And so that's kind of the OOG in a nutshell. Um, but Texas is a large state, and as hard as we work to cover it all, and here in Travel Texas, we cannot do it alone. There are 4 other offices that the state works with in a memorandum of understanding. We have had this agreement with these 4 other state offices for over 20 years. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, the TxDOT, Historical Commission, and the Commission on the Arts. I'll talk about it more, but we meet with these entities once a year with the executive directors to go on all of the updates of our departments and what's going on. This is more of a way to stop duplication of tax dollars being allocated for tourism funds, and to really spread it out and spread the love and talk about the state and all the activities that there are to do that are tourism related. Um, so that is met on an annual basis, but there's also another organization in tourism for the state called the Texas State Association of Travel Council. We meet monthly with that club, and we talk about more month to month frequency of what's happening on the state. So, um, so as you all know, this year was the 8th legislative review of legislation, and it was also a sunset review. And for those of you that are not have never heard of a sunset review, that is it's a review of a state office to gauge the productivity and effectiveness of the office to evaluate and see if they should continue. Well, we just went under our sunset review after 10 years, and we have been recommended to continue for another 12 years. So that was a very exciting development for our office. State budget also was allocated as the largest appropriation for tourism promotion. One half of the 1% of hotel occupancy revenue was approved, so that was very exciting for our office. Um, and like I mentioned with the MOU previously, we were meeting annually, but now we've been doing such a great job. Now we only have to meet every 2 years. So we were excited about that. We also, another recommendation from the Sunset Review was a few managerial actions that I'll get to later, but tourism assessments, a lot of development programs, other things for economic development across the state. So but to kind of really drill down into what I do, the travel research department. So, as many of you have probably requested this, if you're in the loop, we have a 1,000-page, almost 1,000-page research report that we produce annually. Within that document, we have the economic impact of Texas. You can figure out all the way down to your community on how many dollars are coming into your community that you can pass on to your city, your legislative holders, your office. And so there's also going to be the domestic visitor profile, statewide and regional. You can look in there on who's coming to Bandera and what they're doing while they're in Bandera, why they came there. It has a really great profile of the people that are coming into your town, and that can help you kind of curb what your advertising and your promotion and the money that you're investing into your community. You can use that profile report. We also have the international report. That one, we do have it in the office and it's undergoing review, and we hope to have it out as soon as next week. But international is coming back with a vengeance. So where does all of this money go? And so a lot of the direct travel spending that is spent within the state, we do track it. And so this year for 22 annually, we had 91.7 billion in direct spending that generated all encompassing 187 billion that supported 1.2 million Texan jobs. As you can see, that very, very sad little dip in 2020. That was a lot of jobs lost. That was a lot of tax dollars that were not generated. So that is when we bounce back, and we have surpassed the 2019 pre-pandemic levels, which is incredible. But that shows the importance on tourism to the state. So the domestic visitor volume, the Texas destinations welcomed 213 million visitors between the annual year of 22, up significantly from 2021, but we're still just a little bit shy of those 2019 pre-pandemic levels. But visitors really spent more time traveling in the state. However, they went to a lot of multi-location. They didn't just stay in Houston. They went all around Houston and they did multi-trips. And so that's another thing that we really try to strive for. We really like to inspire people to make multiple stops while they're in the state. If you want to check out our website, we create a deck in that on the website called the Research Roundup, and that is we usually update it seasonally. Right now, we are working on the summer update, and so in there you'll find all kinds of information on hotel tracking. You can find forecasting from the U.S. Travel Association, short-term rentals, all kinds of little nuggets of research. I'm sure you want to spend your afternoon reading on tourism. Another thing that we try to update frequently are one-pagers that you can find on the website. But I think this is probably the most utilized by all of the communities that visit the website is the interactive economic impact website. So this is a dashboard that you can find on our industry site. On here, you can adjust the date there in the middle, and then up in the top right corner, you can select your location. It'll show your spending, employment, earnings, and tax revenue for your community. It has over 300 cities, all of the counties, legislative districts, regions. It has everything going back for about 20 years. And so this is probably the most utilized page we have on the industry site is this dashboard right here, and the most requested. So on from research onto advertising. Sorry, I talk really fast. So some of the main functions that our advertising team allocates is TV. We have integrated brand content, digital, social, out of home, and audio, as well as print. We had taken a pause with print, but since COVID, we have delved back into the print advertising world, and it's been um, pretty positive. So here are going to be a few of our advertising campaigns that we have right now with the Get Your Own trip to Texas. So the Get Your Own Can't Believe My Eyes trip, the Bring Go Big or Go Home. The my favorite is the Paint Your Town trip to Texas. And I actually, if we had time, can you hear the audio?
No, we don't hear the audio on that.
You can't hear the audio.
Mm-mm. You might have to select to share your audio content.
You know how to, let's see, screen. Oh, maybe next time.
Okay.
But you can find all of our commercials on YouTube. But that we had 4 different commercials that were being shown for the Get Your Own Trip campaign. Here's a few of our digital. You'll see these maybe on Facebook. If you're playing a game, these will pop up for kind of a flash advertisement. And so you can also, we not only do we have our industry site, but we have our consumer site on traveltexas.com. On there, you can find things to do, cities and regions, plan ahead, and where to stay, where our accommodations are housed. Content refresh are planned for FY24, which we just started, and so we're working on currently refreshing that entire website. And so our most recent award-winning campaign was the Trip Builder 2.0, and this is kind of like it's like a dating profile. You open up the website and it has you pick a couple of different categories, and then you can swipe left and right to things that you would want to do in the state. And there's about 20 questions, and at the very end, it'll generate a trip to Texas. And so that was a really fun little advertising campaign that we just wrapped up, but we are now doing the 2.0 version. We're resuming international advertising for 23. Um, some of and if you would like to get involved for your community, there are cooperative opportunities. I'm sure a few of you have talked to one of my colleagues, Maddie Phillips. She heads this department on how your community can get involved. It's a subsidized fee. If you were to work directly with an advertising company, you can work through Travel Texas with a very sliding scale fee for having your community be featured on our website and other sites that we promote on. So beyond advertising into public relations and marketing, some of the assets that we utilize is social media. Sales and media missions, we frequent a lot of trade shows, we have familiarization tours, we have in-person and virtual media activities. There are 5 people on our marketing team that cover all the different countries as well as domestic, and they are a busy bunch right now. We are in the high busy conference season right now, and they are all over the world. So along with that, we also have the social highlights of the earned media that we have been featured in, including travel and leisure and Southern living. Um, some of the activations that we've had is at the Chicago Auto Show. That was a really great turnout. We have kind of Eclipse leaning. We had a Starbucks that we took to all of our activations, and it was a simulator for an immersive sky viewing. And this box was really cool. I got to experience it last May. You go into this box and you look at it, it's a simulator of a night sky. We had kind of a smell box, and it would create the smell of bluebonnets or hay, like you're in the field, and you could hear chirping, crickets, and it was just a really immersive simulator of being in a night sky. And we took that to New York, we took it to Chicago, we've taken it to tons of different activations, and that was really promoting the astrotourism leading up to the eclipse. So We had it at IPW. That's another marketing event that we just experienced. We had 18 different locations that a lot of, I think, of you that are on this call right now were involved in. We had all kinds of activities with marketing. We actually do have the marketing plan live on the website right now. It just went live last week. If you want to check out there and get involved, all of the activities are live on the website. Um, so beyond that, next is our tourism friendly. I'm sure a lot of y'all are involved in the music friendly and the film friendly program. So Travel Texas is now coming out with a tourism friendly program. And encompassing that is going to be a certification program managed by our office, and it is going to encourage communities to pursue tourism as an economic development strategy and provide resources to support their efforts. It'll be There'll be different windows to sign up. It'll be kind of a checklist program, and then you'll get your certification of being tourism friendly. Something that you can really kind of show your city leaders to show, hey, we're engaged, we're active, we know what we're doing. So we're very excited about the tourism friendly program. So what y'all are all here for is the state eclipse highlights. And so um, as y'all know, everybody has been planning diligently for over a year now. Our office is planning on launching an Eclipse page on Monday, October the 2nd. It's going to add further inspiration to the astro enthusiasts planning for the eclipse. Our page is really going to enhance not just one DMO, but the state as a whole. We won't specifically have different pinhole locations on there, but it's going to be kind of conveying the whole trip to Texas on many things that you can do while you are visiting. Um, but it'll have listicles of different ranches that you can go to, state parks that you can go to, road trips, events that are going to be on, and other little websites that will be included to plan your trip for the eclipse. There will be other series of additional resources that are Eclipse only related info. But how can your community get involved with this? Within the website, we do have different categories, including event website, event submission. And so it may not be specific to the Eclipse, but you can go on there and it will be connected through the Eclipse page on things to do around the area that is Eclipse related. You can also submit your accommodations that can on the Where to Stay page. Please contact us, and I'll put you in contact with the THLA point of contact for that. There's also the Plan Ahead page, which offers trip inspiration. If you go to our website right now, we do have a large stargazing site with 3 different sub web pages that have other specific areas that you can really kind of plan your itinerary around. West Texas, where to stargaze. Um, so that's a great resource that we have currently, but hopefully on Monday, that is the goal, that we're going to have the webpage live. If you want to get involved in the marketing, Travel Texas does have the October 14th annular eclipse as part of our Texas to-dos that is going to be sent out to journalists. I can put you in contact with our domestic marketing contact for that. And a special thank you to the partners who have already responded to the inquiry in August. Please be sure that you are a part of the NJF distribution. That is the website, the email right there. If you want to sign up with our marketing team, MMGY, also known as NJFPR, a lot of alphabet soup right there. But that will be included in future requests of events that are going on in your community that we will put onto our newsletter for the domestic newsletter distribution. And so also on social, Starry Night will be a part of our big October content calendar. If you put the hashtag Texas to do, that will be generated in one of our filters that we have for the social. It will be pulled into kind of a library of images, and from those images, we will pull those and promote those on our social media. So on the left right there is our consumer site that visitors will be viewing. On the right is kind of more of an inside view for the communities that are wanting to get involved. Both of those are really great resources to get involved. And that is my email. Thank you.
Fantastic. And it looks like Amanda just chimed in with NJF into the chat here.
Oh, great.
That was wonderful, Spencer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
At this time, I kind of want to open it. I'm guessing there's probably going to be a lot of questions. You're welcome to put those questions in the chat or unmute yourself and ask those directly. But yeah, we've got a little over half an hour, so please feel free, folks, to unmute yourself and start asking questions. I know I'll kind of kick things off. One of the things you brought up that I was so excited to hear about is astrotourism.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're all about that being much more of a buzzword. Um, I'm guessing you expect a lot more general interest along the astrotourism lines with the eclipses coming in.
Mhm.
How is Travel Texas specifically promoting the astrotourism side of travel and tourism?
We have the trip inspiration on the on the consumer site, and so whenever you can, for example, go onto the trip builder, there are tons of different categories on things like haunted houses, horseback riding, beach getaways, astrotourism. It's one of the categories that will be included in the trip builder. So specifically for promotion, we do have the newsletter that will be going out to journalists as well as people who do sign up for that newsletter, that you can sign up directly on the consumer site. And so definitely the eclipse has affected the promotion that we have been doing. So um, I hope that answers your question.
Excellent. Yes, no, it does. It does. That's great. Yeah. And I mean, any opportunity to get folks to come to Texas, to come to the Hill Country, but
Mhm,
obviously anything we
mhm.
can do to sort of raise awareness on
Oh yeah.
astrotourism and night skies is always a huge win. And even though these eclipses are happening during the day, we're
Mhm.
definitely sort of pushing the come for the sun, stay for the stars
Yeah.
mentality as well.
Yeah. We definitely we saw the um what's the right word? Well, we invested all of the money that went into the simulator box, and that was not a cheap um a program that we had that we took to all of our marketing events. And so the box was definitely a big investment, and that was promoting the night skies with all of the information on the I know you know the word for it, the night sky certification,
Mhm.
the dark sky
Dark sky
certification.
certification.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
we definitely talked about that a lot with the box.
Is that interactive component ever in like public facing environments where folks can
Oh
check that
yeah,
out?
they put it on the, I believe, when they went to the barbecue fest last year, they took it to New York's barbecue festival and put it on a corner, and we had a food truck out, and people would go and try Texas barbecue, and they were segued into the box to experience the night sky. So it was on the corner of the street in New York City.
Awesome. Well, definitely let us know if it winds up being public facing and within the Hill Country, and we'll let folks know to come check it out.
Yeah.
It looks like Debbie had a question about any focus in advertising with regarding avian and bird facing sort of tourism experiences.
I I do know that we just put we have a photo in our campaign right now of a pier with people bird watching. So I'm not as
Excellent.
involved in the advertising planning,
Mhm.
but I do know that we had every year we try and feature birding, and this 22 FY22 campaign, no FY23 campaign, we did have a visual of people out bird watching with binoculars.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, what have you? Like I said, feel free to unmute yourself or you can raise your hand.
Um, so I don't know if you can hear me. My name is Blanca Larson. I'm in Del Rio at the CVB, and I have not gone through the website to look at all your research yet. But do you do any like border communities as a whole, or do you? Because we're right on the border, so I don't know if the all the information is so different because of everything that's going on the border now. I don't know if you do those separately or if you can do those separately.
What do you mean by like by
Okay,
border
so
communities?
your information on economic impact of the
Hmm.
tourism and so forth. And
Hmm.
so I know that our economic impact on the tourism, everybody's was bad during COVID,
Yeah.
but ours was worse because if you were a legal a resident of Mexico and you had a card to cross, you couldn't
Hmm.
cross. But if
Hmm.
you were illegal, you could cross.
Hmm.
So, of course, all our sales suffered, our retail sales, and like everybody else, the hotels and so forth.
Hmm.
So, with everything going on now, I don't know what the economic impact of if we're getting more tourism in, or if we're not getting tourism in because of the immigrant situation. So I don't know if there's any numbers that show, because we're different than the rest of the state.
Well, I
Because
know that
perception.
we don't specifically track it on the board just for being the border. I do know that we have, if you go to the dashboard, we have it set up regionally, and I'm guessing that the border would be buddied up with the South Texas region as well as the Big Bend region. You can look on there as a whole. Um,
Oh,
that would be the closest, would be the Big Bend region or the South Texas region. But we also have it down there, individual towns on their economic impact, but we don't have tracking on political
yeah.
effectiveness. We don't really track that.
Okay. Thank you.
That's good information. All right. With regards to, these upcoming eclipses, are there any sort of projections that have been put forth as far as what we can be expecting? I mean, we've been very focused, obviously, on, the hill country here in Central Texas, but what sort of forecast are you all seeing? Because this is crossing, 85 counties within the state.
Mhm. Do we have a forecasted projection of how many people are going to be coming in?
Mhm.
A lot. A lot.
Yeah, we know it's roughly here, they're estimating anywhere between, 800,000 to 1.5 million,
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious what sort of forecasting you may have seen for the rest of Texas.
I don't believe we're tracking that. I know that we have in the talks right now, we are working on an economic impact study with our economic impact vendor. We're working on finalizing that study right now, and that should be out before April next year. I'm not sure if that's going to be public, but it'll be a little more insight for our office and development. But we don't have the forecasting numbers, but we will have the impact eventually.
Excellent, good information. Looks like there's a question in the chats. I think they heard that there would be a guide for available space on ranches and other private property. Are there any designations for property that is forbidden?
That is outside my realm.
Okay.
That would be probably a text dot question.
Okay.
Or gosh, I don't know. Yeah, that's way
Right,
beyond
we'll see
my
if we can get an answer for you
capacity.
on that.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. These are
I wish I could answer that.
these lunch and learns often stir up questions that are definitely
No,
outside the purview. So that's definitely, good. And we will try to get an answer for you, Brett, on that.
I do know that I have been in chat with TxDOT, and they currently have a website right now that is active that has ranches that you can go visit that are, being um, promoted as eclipse viewing. So Texas Parks and Wildlife Department is a really great resource for finding eclipse viewing ranches, state parks, outside viewing, and camping. So
Got it. Okay, good to know. All right. Any other questions or thoughts for Spencer? Or any other issues or conversation you want to have regarding travel and tourism? A lot of you are working very closely with your respective, community, whether it's committees or departments with regards to preparing. I know all of you that are on path of annularity and totality are exceptionally busy right now because we are at, I believe it's 18 days and counting to the annular eclipse. So definitely if there's any ideas, thoughts, or advice you want to give to those that may be in need of it, feel free to do that here, or feel free to chime in on what you've been doing as far as ramping up, messages from your tourism departments. Oh, Patricia, did you have a question?
No, I just unmuted ourselves.
Okay.
Keep it okay.
Now, Cowboys, keep down.
But I
So,
would say,
oh, go ahead.
Spencer, though,
Okay.
about land owners, first and foremost, they have to assume any and all liabilities for safety, cleanup, as well as protecting their own properties. So we'll check with, do you really want to do it based on the insurance I would feel would be necessary?
Yeah, that's
Right.
definitely top of the list for landowners is, have you checked your insurance?
And another thing, this is Jack. If they're expecting a large crowd, I mean 2,500 or more, they need a mass gathering permit in the state of Texas.
Did you get that?
Yes, that was a mass gathering permit?
Correct.
2,500 or more people in attendance.
Good to know. Would they go to their municipality to obtain that permit?
You get it online for Texas.
Online? Okay.
I know in regards to the mass gathering permits, we have actually added a little bit of verbiage to lower our numbers specific to Burnett County. I apologize, I'm from Burnett County. Because it helps us know more of what's going on for this big event. And for Burnett County, you can go on to our Sheriff's Department website to obtain the permit. Something else that everyone may want to start looking into is they're not actually supposed to turn it in until 45 days before the event. Again, that's something that we have changed for the Eclipse so that we can better prepare on our end.
That's great information, Blair. Thank you. All right, we had another couple of questions come up. What would be a good general message about the annular eclipse to give an urban neighborhood? I think you're mentioning eye protection. That's definitely one of the first and foremost, components to let folks know about. Also just being aware of, traveling around an area, transportation, knowing, which roads might be closed. There's, always construction happening all over Texas at any given point in time. So that's definitely one good component to keep people clued in about. Let's see. When he's asking, do you have any information about the Travelers Information radio stations?
Isn't that managed by TxDOT?
That might be. I am not familiar with those, but I can definitely do some research on that.
I can look into that
Okay.
as well. I know that TxDOT is the hotline to call for road conditions and travel information. And so that would be, I know TxDOT has a section on their website for road conditions. Usually they put it out during hurricanes and flooding. So TxDOT would probably be the route to go to for that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to become a very popular page on their website.
That actually cut year round.
What was that, Patricia?
It actually stays up road conditions because you can get construction sites.
Yeah.
They're blocking one of the three main entrances into our county, a mile and a half outside of town by taking a bridge down to one lane of a 2-lane road.
That's going to be intense. Let's see, we've got a question. If there's been a lot of interest for the October 14th eclipse, this person's from Concan and hasn't had many inquiries. It's definitely the lesser, if you will, eclipse that we have coming up. But what have you noticed from a travel and tourism side with attention to the annular versus the total?
I probably have more for April. But I think people that are more local, just in my experience, people who called more people are wanting really advanced information on planning for April, but a lot of the people who are local want to know where to go for October. So that'll probably be more in-state travel.
Yeah. Will we be able to get a sense from, your website tools after these eclipses to kind of gauge what kind of interest there was, even after October?
Mhm.
I gather that, there are going to be a fair number of folks that would probably be traveling for this annular eclipse,
Oh,
mainly
yeah.
because it's sort of the ability to come scope out things ahead of April.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot. I've had tons of emails and phone calls all about the April. And hopefully we will have the report from our economic impact vendor. And I'm hoping I'll at least be able to share it, maybe not on our website, but by request, we can share that report. And unfortunately, it probably will be the impact post eclipse, but at least we'll know what kind of an impact that it had on the state.
mhm,
Mhm. But
absolutely.
I mean, we're anticipating a huge turnout.
Are you able to share your slide deck with us and some of the links that you mentioned? I know we've had a lot of requests in the chat for being able to have access to some of those resources you brought up.
My presentation?
Mhm.
Oh, for sure. Can I email it to you and then you
Yep.
can send it
Get it
out?
out to
Okay.
everyone. Absolutely. Definitely.
And
All
I'm
right.
happy to answer any non-eclipse related info as well on ways to get on the website. If you own a hotel or have an event in your town, we really do promote these events on our social. So please submit all of them, and we include them on our newsletters. Yeah, please send those in.
Great. And we'll make sure to distribute. I think I pulled some of the hashtag information from your presentation so folks know to kind of associate that as well and add those on to obviously, drive the various social media audiences in multiple locations in multiple ways.
Mhm.
What can we do to help, improve upon travel and tourism? Are there kind of suggestions, recommendations, things that as communities, as business owners, as just general, people in the public that have vested interest in, these events and travel and tourism, how can we better help,
There are a few ways. You can sign up for our advertising co-op opportunities, our marketing co-op opportunities. You can email NJF and they can get on the events newsletter. You can submit your hotel lodging information on places of where to stay. There, that's pretty. That's a pretty good. You can get onto our social by also emailing NJF. Yeah, the co-op opportunities are really the advertising and co-op and the marketing co-op. Those are really the ways to get involved, to be on the forefront. But just to kind of be on like an organic rotation, it would be with NJF.
excellent. Well, as I've mentioned before on these calls, I'm definitely happy to hang out until the entirety of our time has ended. If there are any questions or things that should come up, this is I believe, the fourth in our series now. So we still have many more through the rest of the year. Oh, Patricia, did you have a question? Actually, somebody did mention some questions in the. Go ahead, Patricia.
Jack is talking.
Okay, go ahead, Jack.
You sent me a text yesterday about the AgriLife meeting.
Yes.
Only thing I want to add to what list you had, and it really is a little different than what you provided, was that after talking to them, we were surprised that very few, I think only 2 people out of 100 plus, had already been involved with the county/city on doing anything on the eclipse. Some of
Wow.
them still did not know anything about it. And they were all county agents out of the 21 counties in this district. And the point Patricia and I got across was go back to your community and spread the word and get involved. And I think I'm hoping I'm going to follow up with that with the gentleman from DAR to make sure they're getting involved because he could get back to the county agents.
Good to know. I think that's a general good message for everyone across the board.
Correct.
Get
Correct.
to communities, get involved. Looks like we've got another couple questions in the chat. Is there any data that you could use from us?
Who's they?
This is, I don't know, Peter, if you want to come on and ask this directly, if I'm phrasing it wrong. Oh, so he's asking if there's any data that your agency is in need of from them and how they would like that provided. He says thinking things like events being planned, major roads available, restaurants. It's restaurant rows, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
You can submit the event to, I can look up really quick the email that you need to send your events to. That's going to be with the TxDOT Division, Texas Highways. They're the ones who manage our event section on the website. Let me pull that up really quick. That would be a way to provide the events that are going on. That will be, we'll have a link on the websicle about events that are happening in the area that will then reroute to the what's happening. So that's a way to get the event involved. Major roads available. I would imagine we're probably going to include a TxDOT link on the site. I'm not quite sure about the restaurants. We're trying not to really funnel into one location or a specific town or a specific entity because we don't want to bombard and overload these communities. We really want to disperse the inspiration across the path, if that makes sense.
It does, yes.
So we just don't. At first I thought, well, why can't we include like specific towns and include specific restaurants and all these specificities. But as internal talks, it's just better to disperse this throughout more of an inspiration, not just do the event, the Eclipse, create an entire trip building opportunity for the state and other things to do, not just the Eclipse. And so we want to spread the love across the whole state and not just specific, because then nobody gets left out and everybody is included in the message.
Sure, that makes perfect sense. Another question in chat. Can you tell me who to contact if I see a potential problem, bottleneck, big traffic hazard? Would that be a TxDOT? Yeah.
And I just put in the chat, that's the website, that's the email that you need to submit all events for your community. That is managed by TxDOT, but it will go onto our website. And that will be then funneled from the Eclipse site.
Perfect. And then I guess the big question is, what is the website for your Eclipse page that's launching on Monday?
I knew y'all were going to ask that. I'm pretty and I asked, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a tab on the top of our consumer site. You'll see it whenever you log on. So hopefully by Monday, by lunchtime, check out our traveltexas.com, and it'll be somewhere very easily accessible on the consumer site.
Got it. Well, I will look for it first thing on Monday, and we'll make sure it gets linked and put on the Eclipse portal. Awesome. Okay. We've got about 10 minutes left. Any other comments, thoughts, or considerations as far as we still have about 5 or 6 other openings for Lunch and Learns that we still need to schedule. You all have been fantastic about providing suggestions and recommendations, so we're trying to get folks to subject matter experts to fill those spots, and hope to have the rest of the calendar fleshed out in the coming days, if not the coming week. Our Lunch and Learns will continue on starting next month with the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays, and that information is available on the Eclipse portal. We are entering our Hill Country Alliance Leadership Summit this week, so I hope to have the rest of these Lunch and Learn recordings up on the portal sometime mid next week, and we'll send out an email about that. Also, our quarterly Eclipse Roundtable will be next month on October 17th. We're looking at having Jay Anderson, who is a meteorologist out of Canada, who's done the recent review of El Nino effects on our potential cloud cover, and we'll have hopefully have some interesting things to share. And of course, we'll be spending a lot of time recapping and discussing how everyone was with the annular eclipse, thoughts, input, lessons learned from that, and so on. But otherwise, like I said, happy to stay around, answer any questions, but I definitely want to take an opportunity to thank you, Spencer, for taking the time out of your day and providing us with some tremendous information, great resources, and things that I think are going to highly benefit our Eclipse team participants, not just from Eclipse preparation standpoint, but moving forward onto that with regards to being beneficial for travel and tourism in the state. So thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope everybody got something out of it. And if not, please use my email. And if I don't know the answer, I will get back to you, or I'll find the person that can answer it. So it's a big project and there's a lot of people involved, and I apologize if I didn't answer your question.
That's okay. You know, I can't imagine it's an easy task being responsible for travel and tourism in the second biggest state in the union. That's a huge undertaking. But you guys are doing a great job and have a wonderful fount of resources available to us. So we greatly appreciate that.
Awesome.
So real
Great.
quick, I just wanted to tell you that we, through the city, the county, and our CVB hired a consultant for phase one, just to help us get this information, get stuff planned and information off the ground, and trying to get the city and the county involved. And we ran across an app that is an artificial intelligence app, and it's called 42 Chat. And I don't know if we're going to do it or not. Depends if you know, if we can put the money together. But it is they have a if it's for large meetings and it's for festivals. And if you go to the festival bot, they will load everything for you, and also emergency management information. So if there's an emergency and you need to get information out to everybody on the festival or whoever signs up for it, then you can tell them what's going on or what not to do. And if they want to know where's the next event, it'll all be there, and all they have to do is ask it. It's just like a Siri or like an Alexa. It's called 42 Chat, and if you all want to look at that, it would cost us around $25,000. Then I asked them to give me a price later on to use it as for the CVB, which they haven't done that yet. But if I had the money, I would do this immediately. So.
Is there a URL or a link you can provide in the chat, my dear?
Yes, let me send
Thank you.
it. And I'll provide the name of the person that we're talking to. I'm gonna have to send it to you later on because my email's down, but let me.
That's fine. That's fine. You send it to me and I'll make sure it gets distributed to everybody if that's something that interests them.
And I picked the festival bot, but they have for meetings and events, also other events.
Spencer, if anything comes up, within, between now and April, if there's, other resources or other ways that, all of our Eclipse team folks can help benefit you and your team, do not hesitate to reach out and let us know.
I will pass that along. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you all for being here today, for being a part of these Lunch and Learn sessions, for all of your amazing questions, input, suggestions, recommendations. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for now, but we'll stick around, like I said, until the end of this meeting if anything else should come up. But thanks for joining, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.